to Empower Your Thinking, the podcast that inspires and fuels your journey to unlocking your full potential. Join host C.T. Johnson on the voyage of self-discovery as he uncovers the keys to a more empowered and fulfilled life. Tune in and elevate your thinking today.
Well, greetings, cerebral citizens. Welcome to the Empower Your Thinking podcast with yours truly, C.T. Johnson. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of self-discovery as we uncover the keys to a more empowered and fulfilled life. I want you to take to heart that your active participation is what makes this podcast a success. If you're finding value in our conversations, I encourage you to take a moment to rate and subscribe to the podcast. Your support helps us reach more listeners, and I'd love for you to be a part of the Empower Your Thinking community. So take a moment, rate and subscribe to the podcast. All right. Now let's dive into today's episode. Today we're talking about something that affects all of us at some point, and it begins with the letter P, the P word. What is it? Think about it. Procrastination. That's it. You got it. Procrastination. I, like you, have experienced the urge to put things off. I understand the consequences, however, it can have on productivity, on your well-being, and your overall success. So today, we're going to explore why procrastination happens. We're going to look at the long-term cost of delaying tasks. And then, most importantly, we're going to look at how we can break free from its grip and take control of our time and our life. So are you ready? All right, let's dive into this subject matter of procrastination, how to overcome it, and the hidden costs of procrastinating. So understand initially that procrastination isn't just an annoying habit. It's a barrier. Procrastination is a barrier and one to fulfilling your potential. Avoiding tasks delays progress and adds unnecessary stress to our lives. But when we understand the actual cost, we gain the motivation to overcome it. Let's look at Proverbs 12 and 24. The hand of the diligent will rule, while the lazy man will be put to forced labor. Now, this verse reminds us that action and diligence, once again, action and diligence are key to success. You will never have success void of action and diligence. When we avoid work, we don't move forward. When we take initiative, we move forward toward goal accomplishment. All right. Now, let's begin by shedding light on the psychological triggers behind procrastination. It's often more than just laziness, as I aforementioned. It's about emotional avoidance. Get that. Laziness, or rather procrastination, deals with more than laziness. At its core, it's about emotional avoidance. Procrastinators frequently grapple with anxiety, fear of failure, and low self-esteem. Understanding these emotional responses not only provides relief, but also empowers us to confront and manage them, thereby reducing the desire to escape and the postponement of tasks. Research suggests that 20% of adults experience what's called chronic procrastination. This statistic isn't just a number. I want you to see how it highlights how widespread the issue is and how it affects all areas of life. Again, procrastination isn't just about being lazy. However, it's about managing our emotions and the discomfort that specific tasks bring. Okay. Now think about it. How often do you feel the temptation to check social media or distract yourself when facing an overwhelming task? Think about that. I'm giving you time to think. I'm giving you opportunity to pause and actually answer the question. How often do you feel the temptation to check social media or to do something that distracts you from focusing on a task that you find overwhelming? This is a direct result of our brains seeking immediate gratification. With the rise of constant notifications and digital distractions, instant rewards become far more appealing than long-term tasks. Now, I want you to assess yourself as we go through this subject of procrastination. I want you to hone in, focus in on how you are currently putting off whatever it is because you feel overwhelmed, because you're dealing with the possibilities of failure, because of some type of emotion that you have yet to get a handle on. I don't want you right now to focus on how your spouse, how your coworker, how your neighbor needs to hear this podcast, this particular episode. I do want you to share it. But right now, as we're going through this, I want you to assess yourself, take an introspective look, and find where you are in the scope of things as we deal with this subject matter of procrastination. Okay. Now do that for me. And most importantly, do it for yourself. Now that we've explored why we procrastinate, let's shift to the actual cost of delaying tasks. The impact isn't just on our productivity. Procrastination affects our mental health, our relationships, and our future opportunities. Write that down. Procrastination, it affects mental health, relationships, as well as future opportunities. One of the most significant hidden costs that we hardly ever discuss or deal with of procrastinating or procrastination is our mental well-being. While procrastination might seem like a way to avoid discomfort in the short term, it actually leads to greater stress, anxiety, and guilt in the long run. When we push things off, the task looms, making us feel overwhelmed. Now, most times we don't realize that, but that's why I'm slow walking us through this to help us realize the obvious as it pertains to the outcome of procrastination. And so when you really take the time to slow walk yourself through the root cause of procrastination, deal with it at its core, it doesn't make sense to procrastinate, because what you are procrastinating to avoid, actually, you are increasing it in the long run. See? Now, I'm always going to provide you with data, with statistics, because that helps us to prove out what it is we are discussing, what it is that we're studying out. And in this case, it's procrastination. So there is a study that shows procrastination is strongly linked to increased anxiety and depression. Individuals who procrastinate experience heightened stress and emotional discomfort, with chronic procrastinators reporting anxiety levels up to 40% higher than those who don't delay tasks. So it behooves us to get done what we need to get done as soon as we can, versus putting it off for whatever your reason. But putting it off only increases anxiety, increases depression, and again, it heightens and elevates what it is that we are procrastinating to avoid. So procrastination only postpones stress for a short period of time, but then at the end, you're dealing with more stress than you would have if you didn't procrastinate. See? So also note that it doesn't end with just mental health, but there are other effects to procrastination, such as affecting productivity and performance. The longer we delay, the more pressure builds, often leading to rushed, subpar work. This not only affects the quality of our output, but also leads to a sense of unfulfilled potential. Now, there is another study found or produced by the Journal of Business and Psychology that states procrastinators are 40% less productive than their peers. Again, I want you to find yourself in this. Over time, the accumulated hours spent avoiding tasks can lead to missed deadlines and opportunities, reducing overall success. Procrastination impacts more than just you. Think about it. It affects those around you, whether it's missing work deadlines or letting down a friend or a family member. Procrastination has the power to strain relationships. I want you all to write that down. Procrastination has the power to strain relationships and ultimately kill them. Failing to follow through erodes trust and can create tension in personal and professional settings. Hence the death of a relationship, the death of an opportunity, the death of an advantage. All results of procrastination. Now, we have discussed how procrastination affects our mental health, how it affects performance and productivity. Now, let's briefly discuss how to overcome procrastination. I want to give you some practical tools to overcoming. All right. First, let's talk about how to take control and overcome this habit. It's a habit. Let's start there. Procrastination is a habit that we develop over time. And like any habit, it took time to develop it. It's going to take time to transition out of it, to replace it with a better habit, with a more productive habit. So the first step in overcoming procrastination is recognizing that it's not just a personal flaw, but a response to emotional discomfort. That's the first step, the first actionable step in overcoming procrastination. You have to recognize that it's not just a personal flaw. Stop taking it stop seeing it from that vantage point. But I need you to understand that there is an emotional discomfort that is the reason, the root cause of one procrastinating. And so you have to identify what that is. You have to identify what that is in order to move toward conquering this habit, this barrier, this opponent, this enemy called procrastination. Understanding this makes it easier to confront the underlying cause and to address it. We must learn to embrace discomfort and take small but deliberate actions to move forward. Small but deliberate. Okay. Now, how do you do that? Well, you do it by breaking the large into small. Start by breaking larger, overwhelming tasks into smaller, more manageable ones. Instead of thinking about an entire project, focus on completing one part at a time. The old adage, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Doing this reduces anxiety and gives you a sense of accomplishment with each small win. All right. So that's the first step in overcoming procrastination. Breaking larger, overwhelming tasks into smaller, more manageable ones. All right. Now, let me provide you with some more data. Research on productivity shows that breaking tasks into smaller pieces leads to higher engagement and fewer distractions, allowing us to focus on one thing at a time. Techniques like the Pomodoro method, Pomodoro. I probably butchered the pronunciation of the word here, but it's spelled Pomodoro. Pomodoro method. I believe that's closer than what I said initially. Pomodoro method. Okay. That's a technique that suggests working in 25-minute intervals with breaks in between have been shown to reduce procrastination and increase focus. And so it's important for me to provide you with data to give you substance to what I'm sharing as it pertains to ways to provide solutions and answers to your problems, and to help you understand that, contrary to what you may think or even feel, you're not the only person that's dealing with the emotional discomfort and the haunting possibilities of failing at whatever it is you're doing, which is why you're putting it off. Okay. But I want to give you practical, actionable steps, tools, and tips on how to defeat what is currently defeating you. And so the Pomodoro method, again, is about working in 25-minute intervals with breaks in between. And it said that doing this reduces procrastination and increases your focus, because you are, again, referring back to the old adage, you're eating an elephant one bite at a time versus trying to ingest the entire elephant with one bite. Okay. Now, here's another powerful strategy, and that is creating accountability. This is another strategy to conquering procrastination. One was breaking the large, overwhelming task into smaller portions. And then secondly, creating accountability. Find someone to check in with, whether it's a colleague, a friend, or a mentor. Knowing that someone is holding you accountable makes it less likely that you will delay or avoid the task, because you have that person, you have someone that is going to check in with you periodically to ensure that you are on target to accomplishing whatever it is that you have allied with them to assist you in doing. All right. Also, setting deadlines, even for small tasks, is crucial. Whether personal deadlines or shared goals with someone else. Deadlines provide a sense of urgency and help us stay committed. Tools like task management apps or shared to-do lists can help you keep track of all of this. So again, I just want to give you some tips, practical wise, to help you overcome this enemy to your success. Then, in conjunction with the app aspect, utilizing apps, because we're in the 21st century, our phones are always in our hands. There are specific apps such as Google Calendar that is specifically designed to help you stay on target and stay on task as it pertains to a to-do list. You can set reminders and things of that nature. These systems help prioritize work and give you a visual representation of your progress, which in turn motivates you to keep going because you can see your accomplishments as you do them, as you complete them. So let's end with a call to action. I always endeavor to provide you with a call to action to help move you toward success regarding what we are discussing. All right. Procrastination is a powerful force that doesn't have to control your life. It does not have to control your life. You can control it. You can get in the driver's seat and kick procrastination out. Yeah, you actually can. By understanding the psychology, I should say, by understanding the psychology behind it, which we dealt with, and recognizing the consequences thereof, which we also discussed, you can begin to take control of your time, take control of your mental health, take control of your productivity. The key is to break the cycle with small steps, build accountability, and focus on long-term goals over immediate gratification. Let me say that last part again. Build accountability, focus on long-term goals over immediate gratification. Get out of that, I gotta have it now. Get out of that instant success, instant accomplishment mindset. Okay? Because that's what is messing a lot of you up. So I want to give you 3 challenges as we close out today's subject. Identify one task you've procrastinated on. Let's start there and break it into smaller steps. Commit to starting right now, even if it's just for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. That's what I want you to commit to. This is your challenge for today. Identify one task that you are procrastinating on. Break it down into the smaller steps. Okay. And commit to 15 minutes a day working on whatever it is you've been procrastinating in. Then secondly, set up an accountability system with a friend or colleague. Do your check-ins with them regularly to stay on track as it pertains to the fulfillment of your objective. And then thirdly, use a productivity tool, the apps, the Google Calendar, the to-do list. All right. Use a productivity tool to help you organize yourself and organize your task and to stay on track with your progress, to be able to visualize your progress and to check off your progress. And this also holds you accountable to whatever the deadlines you've set for yourself. Remember, the first step is always the hardest, but also the most important. Overcome procrastination. Yes, you can overcome it, and you will overcome it if you are intentional. Reclaim your time and your potential. All right. Well, I thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Empower Your Thinking. I truly appreciate you being a part of this journey. I don't say that lightly, or do I say it insincerely. I truly appreciate every one of you. I appreciate you joining me on this journey. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to take a moment to rate and leave a review on your favorite point, aspect, part of today's episode on your favorite podcast platform, wherever you listen. Your feedback helps the podcast grow and empowers more listeners like you. So I thank you for leaving a review. You will receive a free audio teaching if you do so. As a thank you gift for leaving a review and rating the podcast, I want to give you a tangible thank you in a free audio teaching on the subject preparation, a key to success. You're going to love and enjoy this teaching. All right. And you'll be able to download it. The link will be in the show notes of this particular episode. So again, as my thank you for leaving a review and rating the podcast, there will be a link in the show notes for you to download a free full teaching on preparation, a key to success. Now, this is a teaching, a two-part teaching, but I'm going to give you, you know what? I may put the link to both part 1 and part 2. We'll see, but I need for you to rate and review the podcast. All right. Do that for me, would you? I love to hear from you. For more updates and to connect with me directly, follow me on Instagram at IEmpowerLives. Visit my website at ctjohnson.org or email me with any thoughts, questions, or feedback about today's episode at info@ctjohnson.org. Your thoughts are valuable to me. I want you to know that, and I look forward to engaging with you more. Thank you again for your support. Until our next episode, remember that a changed life is the consequence of an empowered mind.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Empower Your Thinking. Remember, a changed life is the consequence of an empowered mind. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast for more inspiring content that fuels your journey to unlock your full potential. And for daily empowerment, follow host C.T. Johnson on Instagram at IEmpowerLives. Join us next week as we continue this voyage of self-discovery, uncovering the keys to a more empowered and fulfilled life.